Good morning. Looking at all the buttons and getting all the metrics and all the technology. Love technology first thing in the morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning again. Happy Hump Day. I'm Valerie Shepard coming to you live from the Hartley Center for Mindfulness and Self-Mastery. And it's another beautiful Wednesday here at the center, coming to you to support you to live the life of bliss that you desire and deserve. Self-mastery is the key to that. Self-mastery being mastering you and your life so that you can exquisitely manage whatever your life brings your way. And our lives bring us all kinds of juicy and deliciousness. Even the stuff that we kind of look and go, I don't know if I like that. We could just deem it juicy and delicious and see what it has to offer. Just receive it and maybe even ask it what it has to offer. Juicy deliciousness, thanks for showing up in my life. What are you here for? What did you come to teach me, to show me? How are you benefiting me in my life? That's what self-mastery gives you the ability to do, to ask the question, to be alive and awake and aware, to engage in this dance, to engage in the dance from a place of anchoring in the knowing that all is well, from a place of total faith and trust in everything is very, very right. Why is this such a passion of mine? Because I didn't do it for most of my life. I didn't understand it. I didn't know the possibilities. I didn't know that the way I had been conditioned to see my life, to perceive myself within that life, to respond to the dynamics of my life. I didn't realize that the things that I was doing and the person I was being was actually running counter to me having the things that I really desired, that I was on a path that wasn't going to ultimately deliver me to where I wanted to be. And there's nothing wrong here. I didn't always feel that way. I always felt like, what the heck? I mean, I got to a place before I wrote the book, I got to a place where I was wondering, is this life supposed to be my life? Like, really? Really? I don't know. I don't know if I like it. I don't know if I want it. Interesting sort of, I don't know if I want it. What a great question. Some people are afraid to hear that question coming from inside them. It makes them go all weebly wobbly. That's today's topic. Hump Day Happy Chat number 142, y'all. It's okay to feel weebly wobbly. Well, as long as it's organic weebly wobbly and not weebly wobbly from some elixir of feeling good. It's okay to feel weebly wobbly. So I'm shouting out to the Bliss Collective folk. Hello, you Bliss Collective. The Bliss Collective is my private group on Facebook. We are in a community that is on a mission to create a movement in the world that is one person at a time, transforming into the highest vibration self that they can bring to every situation and every engagement. And what does that mean? What does that mean? It means the more high vibration people walking around the earth, then the more high vibration there is on the earth. Like, imagine that you don't have to teach people and corral them and make them be a certain way. You can just be that way, be the example, and they get to choose, just like you chose. They get to choose. But how magnificent. Have you ever been around people And just being around them, you're like, ooh, this feels so good. Oh, yeah, this feels so good. Ooh, I love being in your energy. I love feeling your presence. Ooh, wrap me up in some of that juju. Yes, I have. And it hasn't been about romantic love all the time. Has sometimes. I admit. I'm a romance goddess, I will say. I love romance. I love to be romanced. Um, And I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the unconditional love nature that we all are. And when we really get into that, like it just totally owns us. I always talk about my mission is to conquer the world for unconditional love. Like conquer the world for unconditional love. Like when it gets so explosive in us that we can't help but not only be it, but emanate it. Like emanate it. And just let that energy be out there. And imagine that if there are so many of us, that's why we like being in like collective. We like to be in collective because there are so many of us, we can ping off of each other. And that's not to say we don't have Weebly Wobbly moments. I get plenty of them. And sometimes multiple times a day, I'm in the Weebly Wobbly. And here's the thing. If you are really living on the outer edge of your ability, of your consciousness, on the outer edge of your growth, on the outer edge of your I'm in this to win it. If you're on the outer edge, you can't help but be Weebly Wobbly. You're going to have to be Weebly Wobbly. And you, and only you, can make it okay to feel Weebly Wobbly. So let's talk about this idea of Weebly Wobbly. So how many of you, I'm gonna date myself now. How many of you know what a Weeble is? A Weeble. Weeble. A Weeble. It's a bunch of toys made by Hasbro in the Playskool brand of Hasbro. And they are these things. They were first introduced in 1971. They're kind of egg-shaped. I'll put a link in this post. They're kind of egg-shaped. You can see a vintage 1971 commercial about the Weebles, and they had a song. Weebles wobble, but they don't fall down. Weebles wobble, but they don't fall down. Weebles wobble, but they don't fall down. Like, what a superpower. Weebles wobble, but they don't fall down. Why don't they fall down? Because they're made like an egg shape. That shape is not a shape I choose for myself, but they're made like an egg shape. They have a weight in them. And so when they're tipped, the weight gets held by gravity and it brings it back to upright. And they get tipped again, and the gravity interacting with the weight that is inside them, the safety feature built in. The weight is the safety feature built into the Weeble, and all it's doing is being held by a force of the universe. A physical law of the universe called gravity brings the Weeble back to upright. So it can wobble all day and all night, but it doesn't fall down. Take a deep breath. What's coming up for you right now? I find this very interesting and fascinating. Something tips the Weeble, and just when it's about to go off center, precariously wobbling, gravity, a law of the universe that you have nothing to do with, that you don't have to call into practice. You don't have to say, oh, gravity, help me. Gravity just does what gravity does, and the Weeble is set upright. It's caught, safely anchored at home base, ready for the next experience. Go on, tip me over. The next experience. Give it your best shot. Do what you want to do. I'm a Weeble. I don't fall down. No fuss, no muss, no sorrows, no damage, no fear. Interesting. It's okay to feel weebly wobbly. It doesn't have to mean run away. It doesn't have to mean get back to safety. It doesn't have to mean you're out of your environment. It doesn't have to mean danger. It's okay to feel weebly wobbly. So let's apply this to you and me. Let's apply this. How would we embody it's okay to feel weebly wobbly? So this is my embodiment stance. I'm wide open at the heart chakra. I'm tilting my head to allow my brain, my powerful head, to go heart forward. So when my head goes back, my heart automatically goes forward. To me, it's a pose of surrender to the heart. Let my heart guide me. You can watch or rewatch Hump Day Happy Chat number 141 for more on this. Let my heart guide me and let my head follow. Come into entrainment and alignment. So what does this Weebly Wobbly got to do with it? So here's a question for you. A question for you to help you in this, go beyond where I am today. Remember, it's not like getting to your highest potential is not about beating somebody next to you. I know that's what we're taught, and I know that's where I've been anchored, and I still am. There are some aspects of me that I look at things and I go, but I'm older than that person. I should have, but they've got more than I do. They're speaking on a bigger stage. They have a more active following. But I've been doing this for a really long time, and they are more successful at it than I am. So I understand what that means to think we have to prove ourselves or be in competitive energy versus out there. And I constantly remind myself that's not the game. It's okay to be weebly wobbly. So I'm weebly wobbly in my remembering the truth and actually living it. And that's okay, as long as I come back from weebling and wobbling to my anchored center, ready to go. No fuss, no muss, no sorrows, no damage. I'm here. So what situations, circumstances, or people knock you off your center? What circumstances, situations, or people knock you off your center? Allow yourself to go there. Allow yourself to feel it in this moment. What starts you a wobblin? What starts you a wobblin? Is it new ideas? Because maybe the wobblin is that you don't know everything. And maybe the wobblin is that not knowing everything makes you vulnerable. Is it a challenging task? And the wobbling is about, I'm supposed to be able to do these things. And if I can't do these things, the other might doubt my ability to do anything. And especially the things I told them I'm capable of doing, and maybe for which they're paying me. Maybe this was a big one for me. Maybe the wobbling is triggered by intimacy. Into me see. Intimacy. And we go into a closed posture to protect the squishy center of us, our hearts, because we don't want to be exposed. It's dangerous. Maybe intimacy gets you all weebly wobbly. Maybe it's solitude. I don't know how to date myself. I don't know how to just be in relationship with myself. I don't know how to just entertain myself as if I need to be entertained, but I don't know how to do it. Solitude, yuck, that must mean people don't love me. If I'm by myself, that must mean that I'm not supposed to be with others. I don't belong. Maybe it's solitude that makes you go all weebly wobbly. Maybe it's big dogs. Maybe it's cats. Maybe it's thunder. Maybe it's lightning. Maybe it's spiders. They make me go weebly wobbly. Maybe it's I don't want to be sick. Maybe it's coming in second place, losing the race. Maybe it's worrying about how other people perceive you, or more importantly, that they don't receive you, however they perceive you. What makes you go weebly wobbly? Just pick one thing and connect with it. Connect with it beyond your head and its machinations about whether it's right or wrong or where it came from. Who cares? Right now, just connect to the weebly wobbly. Can you feel the tension? Can you feel the brrrr? Can you feel the like the contraction? Notice what happens when you connect to a weebly wobbly, a thing that triggers the weebly wobbly in you, knocks you off center, makes you question or doubt. Now, while you're sitting in that, add this. What if? What if? Notice the what if, the possibility can just automatically open you up. What if? Possibility, just like a Weeble, you knew that you know that just like the Weeble, no matter what topples you off center, no matter what of all that list is toppling you off center in the moment, even if it's topple, come back, topple, come back, topple, all day long, there are things toppling you. Now, you know when people say, I've had a horrible day, the Weeble wobbliness is happening more than once. And it might be all day about the same thing that they're trying to fix, or it might be about several different things that are popping in, causing wobbly. What the F? What the wobbly? Motion sickness from the wobbly. Have you ever had that? I've lived that in different phases and aspects of my life. And in those phases, there was something going on that prevented something else. But let's go back to you in this weebly wobbly that knocks you off center. What if you knew that no matter how deep your tilt, no matter how deep your tilt, no matter how many times you tilted, no matter how many times you tilted, how long the tilt lasted, just like the Weeble, you have a weight in you that anchors you in relationship with the law of gravity that prevents you from completely toppling over, prevents disaster from happening, keeps you safe. What if you knew that you knew that you knew that that was true of you? Not just this Hasbro toy, but you. Like, wow. Are you feeling that on top of the Weebly you've been feeling? The wobbly? Are you really allowing yourself? Like, whoa. Is that it? Is that me? Yeah. What? Who? What? Like, really feel it. Can you feel that strength wanting to anchor in you? Like, even as I compare the two, the wobbly thing, intimacy, and this knowledge that I have an anchor that works in harmony. And it's got me upright. Like I can feel the energy of those two layering on top of one another. It's a both and. So it's not about forget this. No, it's a both and. How do I live as both? An integrated being that can notice and look at and befriend the wobbly parts of me and then provide an opening for this beautiful anchored part of me to come hold me steady, to love on me. What if you could do that? What if you remembered? What if you remembered? What if you remembered? What if you know? And you just have to remember that you know that that's what you are, always have been. What would you do then? Who would you give yourself permission to be then in this layered state? Who would you give yourself permission to be? Would you laugh more? Would you laugh at even troubles? Would you play more? In the face of disaster, would you go off and play a little bit? Would you play in the midst of it? Would you listen more? What's the universe saying to me? What's my higher self telling me about this integration? Would you love more, and would you love more deeply? Maybe you would risk more. Maybe you would risk more. If you knew that there was a weight inside you that kept you from completely falling over, that prevented disaster happening, that kept you safe, that kept you whole, kept you complete, no matter what, that's really who you are, what you are, would you take on more and different kinds of challenges, experiences, just to experience them, even along with the challenging nature that they might simultaneously hold? Would you reveal your authentic self more? Here I am. Would you dance with the different eventualities more? Would you dance? Just dance. Would you embrace failure more? If you knew that it's going to tilt you way, way, way off center potentially. But it doesn't matter, because even in the failure, I have the anchor that pulls me back to center, that sets me to rights. Would you stand tall in the face of adversity, in the face of naysayers, in the face of, no, that's not going to work, in the face of people who would tear you down? Would you stand tall in your knowingness, not to prove anything to them, but just because you know, no matter what, no matter how many times you get wobbly, you are going to stand tall without the disaster, without falling flat on your face, without it all being over? What would you do? What would you do? Who would you be? See, here's the thing. You already have that. You already have that safety weight tethering you to your upright, powerful orientation in the universe. This orientation with all that is. You were born with it. It's in you. It's endowed in you when you incarnated into your earth suit known as your physical body. You brought it here with you. I would even suggest to you, if you are one who can remember your Weebly Wobbly tiny self, when you were learning to walk, when you were learning to hold your own cup, when you were learning to ride a bike, that person had the courage of feeling the Weebly Wobbliness. Imagine being back at the 1-year-old learning to walk. That Weebly Wobbliness didn't stop the 1-year-old. The Weebly Wobbliness doesn't need to stop you. It doesn't even need to make you fearful. What if, as the magnificence, the essence that you are, the capital M-E that's in my book title, Living Happy to Be Me, magnificent essence that you are, image and likeness of this omnipresent, omnipotent, divine principle that is ever expanding, ever looking for the way to come into this this earthly realm through you, as you, being you. The universal principle of love, the universal principle of expansion. I call this principle God nature, Christ consciousness. It's known all over the world as different things. Great Spirit, Allah, Zot, Mungu, Wakantanka, Giche Manatu. This divine principle the world over, it's in your nature. You can't not be it. You cannot activate it. You cannot trust it. You cannot anchor in it. But you cannot not be it. Because it is being you. When you activate it, it's already in there. You are that something greater. I want to be connected to something greater than myself. You are that. It's a part of your superpower, your awesome nature. You are that already. The something greater consciousness lives and breathes through you, as you, in you. You are in this world, but far greater than it. Far greater than the in this world portion of you. You are not of this world. You are amazing. So when you anchor in that first, by remembering the truth of who you are, an integrated spiritual human person with superpowers beyond the five senses. Those are great superpowers, but you have supernatural superpowers beyond the five senses. The truth of who you are gives you access to that. Whew, take a deep breath. I need a deep breath. Then it's about living in harmony with the laws of the universe, the laws that govern all that is, the laws of nature, the laws of spirituality. There's spiritual laws governing the universe, just like the physical law of gravity, just like the physical law of thermodynamics. There are physical laws and there are spiritual laws. And when you first remember, hey, I'm an integrated spiritual human being, I have access to all of that great, not of this world, supercellular stuff. So you first remember it, faith, and then you anchor there. I'm having trouble with the right hand. Then you anchor there. And you dance in harmony with this wobbly experience, anchored in the superpower, the supernatural superpower nature that you always already are. You activate that part of yourself. You live in law of karma. You live in law of gratitude. You understand what law of resistance is doing in your life, and you stay in flow. You choose to stay in flow. Law of transformation. You notice, ooh, that's not it. Ooh, I'm wobbling, and I'm pulling in my superpower. And I'm seeing, and I'm moving, and I'm accepting, and I'm releasing, and I'm going. I'm being. I'm being. I surrender the idea that I am only human. I surrender that idea. And I anchor in, heart forward, brain in alignment, moving from the Weebly back into the strength of the center. Consciously, as consciousness in action. As my friend Satyan Raja would say, a conscious being of choice. A conscious being of choice. So when the Weebly Wobbly happens, embrace it. You needn't run in fear. Your fears are probably set about how you interpret, how you perceive the wobbliness, how you receive the wobbliness. Wobbliness is just a natural part of the universe. It's just a natural part of living on your outer edge of growth. It's just a natural thing. So when that little mini earthquake comes into your life and you see something and you're like, oh my gosh, how am I going to do this? Get in touch with the love energy within you. Get in touch with the juicy curiosity energy within you. Though, like, what's here? Something delicious. This way comes. Like, anchor in the energy. What do you do when a birthday cake shows up? What do you do when a meat lover's pizza shows up? That's me. Meat lover's pizza with pesto. What do you do when, like, something that you just love shows up and you just want to go, I want more? So when the Weebly Wobbly shows up, boom, allow that part of you to come in and hold it. Not beat it up and get it out of the way. Hold it lovingly. Tell it it's okay. Call in the divine anchor that you are. I am that. I am. Call in that nature of you that is always present, whether you activate it or not. It's you. It's there. For you. With you. In you. As you. Call forth that anchor. Feel the fear or whatever the perturbation. Love it. Come into harmony with universal law and take one little step forward. You don't have to see the whole path. Just take the next step that presents itself. Step out on faith and trust. What's the next step that presents itself? Maybe it's just read the next line. You read something and it got you scared? Read the next line. Still scared? Read the next line. And remember, life is happening for you, not to you. Having a conversation, it gets troublesome, you get scared and you want to retreat and say, okay, enough of this. Allow your anchor to get you out of the Weebly Wobbly and back into center. I'm love. Omnipresent, omniscient, omnipotent, law of the universe. I am the principle, the God nature of love. Wobbles are not inherently bad. You get to choose. So here's my encouragement. Wobble, 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 wobble all you want. Activate your wobbliness and then be the higher order, supernatural superpower that you always already are. In harmony with that, and see how it allows you to move forward, up and out in your life. Yay. Hump Day Happy Chat ending now. Thank you so much for being here. Remember, you can always type questions, comments. I'd love to know how this maybe activated. Activation is a word of my dear friend Jennifer Huff, and she's active over at the Wide Awakening, a beautiful place. I'm really grateful to be part of that community. Thank you, Jennifer. I love you. And that's her word, and I love it. Activation. Like, how will you allow yourself to go from thinking one way, being one way, doing one way, and spreading into the expansion of yourself? I encourage and invite you to dance with your wobbliness. Bring in your supernatural and see how you wobble, but you don't fall down. And I always close the Hump Day Happy Chat with the prayer of loving kindness from the Buddha, also known as the Karanaya Metta Sutra, also known as the Metta Prayer. And you can say this at any time. I hope you'll say it or think it or be it with me. May all beings be peaceful. May all beings be safe, even as they wobble. May all beings be happy. May all beings awaken to the light of their true nature. Ooh, hallelujah, amen. And may all beings be free. Yabba dabba do. I'm wishing you a fabulous day. Thank you for joining me today's Hump Day Happy Chat. If you're listening to the replay and you have some things to share, hashtag replay, feel free to share this. Invite people into the Bliss Collective so they can benefit from what we're doing here, what we're sharing here, who we're being here, most of all, who we're being in the collective. We've got some really exciting things coming up. Next week, I will have a special guest with me. You heard me say Wakantanka, Gichu, Manitou. These are some Native American indigenous ways of speaking about Great Spirit or God. And Dr. Anita Sanchez will be here, and we'll be talking about indigenous wisdom and how that contributes to having a life of ease, peace, and grace, aka bliss, and how you definitely bring that into relationships. So how you have great relationships, the easy way is to remember some of the aspects of you that are from indigenous cultures and how you can bring them to life, how you can activate them, bring them to life in your life. Many blessings. Thank you for joining me. Love you. Bye now.